Okay, so what we're going to show you now was something else that we had to modify. If you look right here, okay, this bracket, we had to trim the edge of that bracket to fit along the frame for the Rocky Mountain Westy engine carrier. It seems to fit real nice. It sits very, very close to the edge. Okay, but it didn't quite have the same shape as the frame of the van. And so instead of cutting the van, we trimmed the corner off of that bracket with a grinder, put it on the grinding wheel, and everything seems to fit nice. Now, what we did to line this up was after we trimmed our rear bracket and trimmed the tail, the shift shaft on the tail of the transmission, which I'm going to try and come around to this side. You guys can see that we're clear. There's the hole that we had to drill with a hole saw so that you can see my finger up there in the hole. We drilled that hole for our shift linkage. Okay, and actually our hole is a little bit high, so we're going to have to trim that hole a little bit more in order to get that shift linkage to fit through there correctly. Okay, but we bolted up this rear mount here first, and when we bolted up that rear mount, we found that everybody was pretty close, but we wanted it to be exact where we wanted it to sit. And we were able to get that engine cradle, that carrier, in there nicely. And you can see those bolts are very, very close to the lip of the frame. Okay, but by trimming that edge, we were able to get them in a little bit further. The support of this bracket is actually held by this top piece here that comes in that Rocky Mountain kit, which is actually really nice. The bottom holes here are for the four-wheel drive models, the top holes for the two-wheel drive. We're not all bolted in yet because everything's coming back out. We test fit the exhaust. We've got that bracket in there. Not sure why my brother decided to roll this upward, but we'll figure that out. I don't like that it's backwards, but maybe that's how he wants it. We'll see how everything fits here shortly. This is another thing that we've run into. This is the stainless coolant pipe from Rocky Mountain as well. And as you can see, we're going to have to cut up here on the back of the engine compartment. It's hard to see. Let me see if I can get my camera in there. I'm sorry if I'm getting you guys dizzy. We're going to have to cut where those coolant tubes came through in order to make everything fit nice. So this engine's coming back out here shortly. And we're gonna make the modifications to the engine compartment that we need to make. We had some other things that we've been modifying here, and I'll show them to you over here on the bench. These are parts of the shifter, okay, and this piece right here was off of the old Volkswagen shifter, this bushing, okay, and we had to drive the pin out of that in order to get this off. We're still going to be using the two long rods. Okay, this one actually is is the rear one. This one is going to get modified. This one here is the front one, and we've already started to modify that. We had to cut the end off that was on here, okay, in order to fit this piece of the RSFab shifter is going to slide on there. We had to take this shifter housing box down, and we had to modify this a little too. Part of the pieces that we had to take out were these side brackets that sat inside of the box, okay, and one side bolts in, the other side was riveted in, or spot welded in rather, and this is the side that was bolted. This side here was spot welded. We drilled the spot welds out and just had to bust that piece off of the shifter housing. And then at the rear of the vehicle, on the Volkswagen transmission, is this bracket and this bushing. Okay, and what we've done is we've taken this bushing from the transmission end of the vehicle, and it gets mounted here on this piece. This piece came in the RSFab shifter kit. Okay. It all has to be assembled. It comes with a bunch of screws, and so it's just one plate gets screwed to the other plate. And we had to drill some holes in the side of the box in order to, this is going to fit right down in there with this bushing. And then this shift rod is going to go right through there, and we're gonna set it in there, and then on the other side gets that aluminum cup that we were talking about. And we're still waiting on one more piece of this shifter to come in. Something else that you're gonna run into, we've been running into all kinds of different things. Mountain Westy sells a ton of great stuff. And something that they sell is an aluminum coolant bottle. They call it the tank. They give you these great directions on how to assemble all this stuff, and they give you the adapters, the aluminum adapters for the heater hoses and stuff. What they do not provide you with is a 1 1/4 to 5/8 hose adapter for the top part of the tank. We were able to find a silicone hose from RS Performance. We found it online. It's like $15 for an adapter hose. We ordered that up. We're going to have that coming, and we'll show you what